kneels on the hard cobblestone of an alley, pain and blood surging from the knife wound in her leg. She struggles to free her arms from her captors, but they are too strong. Outside the ring of ninjas, Corbat rubs his eyes and coughs against the burning in his throat. The stranger, sword raised high over Luna's head, laughs in victory. "Ha ha! You both are like toothless puppies, all bark and no bite." Launa squeezes her eyes shut as he drops his blade for the killing blow. Launa is nearly deafened by the ring of steel on steel. She turns to see the stranger with his blade right next to her neck. Holding it back is the umbrella of the old lady she helped so long ago. She begins to shout and beat the stranger about the head. "You leave her alone! She is a daughter of the village. If you would fight her, you must face us all!" The shadows of the alley are pushed back as villagers crowd into the streets, torches, axes, pitchforks, and other farming tools in hand. At the front of the crowd stands Mr. Adoy, walking stick raised high above his head. "Charge!" Even though the villagers are outnumbered nearly 2-1, they bravely rally to the master's command. Suddenly, a ninja materializes from a shadow behind the old woman. He draws back his sword for a sneak attack when the village dog jumps up and bites the meaty part of his backside. Squealing in pain, the ninja drops his sword and flees back into the forest, carrying a dog as a tail. The look of surprise can be seen behind the ninjas' masks as commoners band together, form a wall of weapons, and clear a path to the heroes. Mr. Adoy makes his way to Launa and kneels at her side. "You should have left the knife in. It would have kept the bleeding at bay. Here, take this. There's one for Corbat, too." The master places 2 small green beans in her hand and then locks eyes with the stranger. The master charges into the fray with the strength and agility that belies his advanced age, vaulting and spinning around combatants, walking stick twisting and turning in his hand. He leaves them lying in scattered heaps. A crescendo of squeaking and crashing fills the street as the ox charges into a group of ninjas. It turns sharply, bringing the cart around and sweeping the street clean. Launa limps to Corbat and helps him to his feet.
"Here, Corbat, the master gave me one of these for you. If you eat it, it'll help you recover."
What is it? I can't even see it, much less swallow anything."
"Trust me, Corbat, just crush it between your teeth."
As they chew and swallow the beans, a warmth expands from belly to limb, renewing strength and knitting wounds. Wow, I feel amazing! What was that? Before Launa can respond, they are set upon by another onslaught of ninjas. Here, take my hand! They lock hands around wrists and Corbat spins, swinging Launa about. She kicks as though running through the air, knocking back the first wave. With a second great heave, Corbat sends her flying towards another group. Using her momentum, Launa splits her legs and spins like a giant propeller, knocking them into a wall, leaving them sprawling onto the cobblestone. Like a cat, Launa lands softly next to her sword. She pulls the blade from the earth, its light immediately responding to her touch. The remaining ninjas slowly back away from her, shaking in fear. She quickly scans the alley looking for Corbat. In the distance, she sees Master Adoy standing in the midst of a ninja swarm, directed by the Dark Stranger. The old man effortlessly ducks under a sweeping blade, bringing his staff under the ninja's chin, sending him flying into another horde. He lifts his leg to avoid a low cut, then slams his foot into the earth, sending a seismic wave under the feet of the remaining ninjas, knocking them off balance. Dropping his weight, Mr. Adoy spins and extends his staff, painting an arc. Their feet are knocked out from underneath them, leaving the group laying flat on their backs. Mr. Adoy then rises to stand face to face with the Dark Stranger, a stern look in his eye. Scanning further down the alley, Launa can see Corbat slamming foot and fist into his attackers, small bursts of light erupting from the impact. One ninja jumps onto his back, only to be thrown over Corbat's shoulder, bowling down another group. However, that group is replaced by 10 more. Launa joins his side.
"Corbat, there's too many. We may need to retreat."
Then who will protect the villagers? They will be overwhelmed. Where is your courage, girl? Shout the fear from your belly. As the shadows close in about them, they shout. A brilliant flash of energy explodes from their midst, knocking dozens to the ground. The villagers take advantage of the change in tide and press their attack, sending ninjas fleeing into the dark of the forest, clearing the streets, leaving only two figures locked in combat. The stranger moves aggressively toward the old man, swinging his blade in a series of cuts. Mr. Adoy parries and blocks, then turns away from the attack. He extends his foot to sweep the dark stranger's feet, but like a formless shadow, he darts and flips, landing behind the old man and thrusting his sword at Mr. Adoy's back. In the nick of time, the master turns to avoid the strike, but the blade is too close and cuts the knot from his belt, dropping it to the ground. Corbat and Luna rush to help their master. The stranger is too fast, however. Stepping back, he reaches into his cloak and lobs another egg at them. Expecting this trick, Mr. Adoy scoops up his sash, holding an end in each hand. Pulling it tight, he catches the egg and then swings it around, slinging it back to the stranger. The egg lands square in the middle of his chest and explodes red dust into his face. As his eyes burn and his lungs choke, the stranger feels the ground move from under his feet as he lands on his back with the wind knocked out of him. With both hands on his staff, the old man brings the end down toward the fallen man's head, stopping inches from his face. The master's fiery gaze pierces him to the soul. Once we were brothers. Jealousy and hatred has poisoned your heart and the hearts of those who follow you. He gestures at the now empty streets. Where are your friends now? They have left you to fend for yourself. You have led them down the wrong path. They serve you not out of love, but out of greed. The master points back at Luna. Because she has followed the path of the warrior, she has found the strength of not just one, but that of the whole village. A few choices now lie before you. I could end this now, or you could return to the forest and leave us in peace. Setting the end of his walking stick back on the ground, the master extends a hand to his brother. Or you could gather your clan and join our village. Together we could accomplish much. The man reaches up and takes Mr. Adoy's hand, who helps him to his feet. After all that we've been through, you'd invite us back to your family? Truly, I do not deserve such grace, but I gladly take you up on your offer. The two embrace, and Master Adoy hands him a bean from his pocket. Go now, brother, and gather your clan. Together we will join as one. As the stranger returns to the forest, the master turns to address Launa. Stay your blade, warrior. The battle is won. Launa looks down at her sword. The light is gone, save for the soft glow of the moon reflecting off its polished surface.
Master, it looks as though the magic from the blade is gone. Will it return?
The power you speak of has come from within you, not the blade. It has returned to you until you have need of it again. I see that you have wielded the sword, yet no blood stains its surface. Indeed, you are a warrior of peace.
Yes, Master. My duty is to protect, not destroy.
The master turns to Corbat. Do you see what your bragging has brought to our village? Ultimately, you only serve to prove your foolishness. However, in the end, you chose to serve the village instead of your own ego. That is the mark of a warrior. Corbat kneels before the master and takes his hand. Master, I have seen the error of my ways. Launa's strength comes not from muscle and bone, but from the love of those around her. Please, teach me to be stronger. I will persevere to follow the warrior's path. The old man smiles. You must first prove that you are worthy of such training. Come to my house tomorrow before the break of dawn. In the coming years, Corbat learns that strength lies not in the muscles of the legs and the arms, but in the heart. Life teaches him that the love of others is the best armor. Eventually becoming her equal, he and Luna fight many battles together, thwarting the attacks of bandits and monsters. With his newfound honor, the old Corbat is forgotten. Stories tell only of a man who dedicated his life to helping others. Together, the two warriors train the younger generation that would eventually take their place. They pass on not only their master's training, but also the spirit of the warrior's past.